So there's this situation with my parents. Like the people who would slander my parents, like all kind of strangers. Some strangers. Some family members or children that I hadn't seen for like a really long time. You know, and they'll be like slandering. In other words, just really just outright lying. You know, saying bad things about my parents. Mr. Pete. Pedro, my mama Doreen. Mama Fantasma. Things like that. And I'm 51 years old now. And I've been upset about my wife. Told me I've been upset for days about the slander, which I'm not upset anymore. I come to a conclusion already that regardless of the fact if I were to die like tomorrow or something, there's going to be no one defending my parents. It's kind of sad because they can't defend themselves from the grave. That's really what it's about. So the whole thing about me arguing about slander, man. The whole thing is it's not a nice thing. You don't talk ill about the dead. See what I'm saying? And expect to get away scot free. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm thinking to myself, why don't these people let my parents rest in peace? They're not bad people. I mean, a lot of people who are on my Facebook and Instagram and all that, they've met some of my parents. They met my mom, they met my dad. All the people from the cult, they know who Phantasma is clearly. It's kind of a weird thing, like with my mom Doreen and my dad Pedro. Mr. Pete. He was a legend in the ghetto, man. Mr. Pete. Man, come on, man. Nobody says anything bad about them, personally, like that I know. Then you see the kind of people who slander them and try to say that they're, low life ghetto people. Not, all this garbage. Anybody who would say that about your parents, regular parents, you get up and you slap them in the face. You know what I mean? And then they get upset. Well, why are you upset? Well, I'm upset because I love my parents. That's the reason why. Just because they're dead doesn't give you the red flag or the green light, as they say, to go and talk whatever you want to talk about them because they can't defend themselves. And I really come to the conclusion that it's always going to go on. There's never going to be, they're always going to be saying bad things about them. That's frustrating, man. It really is, man. So my thing is just like, somehow, some way, the people who are, thinking badly about them, who don't get the facts straight, in the end they're going to get it, man, because nature has a way of correcting things. Sometimes it takes a long time for that to happen, and that's what it's about. I just really wish in particular with Pedro and Doreen, if people would know them, in my neighborhood, Mr. Pete, and Doreen, good people, man. Regardless of the fact, you can say what you want. The culture that we have, as whether you're a minority or whatever race you are, we have a culture that kind of is dictated with the place that you come from. I don't know of any culture where it's fine and it's all right to just talk ill about the dead. I don't know of any culture, whether it's Asian or Latino, Hispanic, Norwegian, or in every single freaking culture. That's the number one rule. Come on, man. Let people rest in peace. So, the holiday season's coming up. I'm over all this. I'm just making a video to give people a little bit of a feeling that, when you have your parents, it's your job to honor them. In other words, what I'm saying is that when your parents die, your responsibilities to their name and their family name doesn't die either. That means that when your parents die, that even when they're dead, it's your responsibility to keep their good name and their good reputation intact. And the reason for that is very, very simple, because they deserve it.